always say that we were supposed to be here for 10 months, and now it looks like we will be here for 9 years in total. So I hope you all enjoyed as much as we did. I just wanted to say welcome. I hope all of you are coming on our tour after this. I was just telling Rachel that I made 3 of my really closest friends on the lunch portion of the tour. So I hope you are all there and you enjoy the wine and make some friends the way I did. I am going to pass everything over to Ira, and she's going to give you just a little brief introduction about what the PTA does. And if you'd like more information about what we do, we are having an open meeting on October 6th here at 9 a.m. Thank you.
Can you switch to the
No.
Hi, my name is Iram. Is it open? Yes. Can you hear me? Yes. My name is Iram. This is my 3rd year at BFIS. I have a son, Devin, at 11th grade. And this is my 2nd year at PTA. We just wanted to give you a big welcome to help you settle better, we hope. And first part of this was this welcome activities, where you were involved in so many noisy WhatsApp chats, and the school took part in the buddy program for your kids, and we're doing our best to welcome you, to help you get integrated to your new life here. I don't know whether you're all new to Barcelona or new to school, but yeah, we're just trying to do everything we can to help you out. This is a great wording of what PTA does at school. But I would like to talk about what it did for me, so that maybe you can get more involved afterwards, or you can just answer some of your questions where we can help you out with. I'm originally from Turkey, and for a decade we lived abroad, and my son went to international schools. And it's not easy to start a new school, but it's even harder, not easier, to start a new school in a new country. So the international community helped me a lot, and my family a lot, in getting this integration process. Although it sounds very exciting from outside, it just takes a lot of effort and sometimes tears and blood when you try to find that right type of cheese just to get your kid to feel less homesick, to help them out with some anxiety, whatever. And as PTA, we're trying to do this through the families to help them build the community better, so that it will be easier for your children for the school integration in total, and turn this experience into something really nice, which can be challenging sometimes. So, as I said before, one of the things we do is this welcome pack to the new families. It starts with this Only New Parents tour today, but we do have lots of events planned for the families. And if we could have the video, that this is just a teaser of what we did. Open it. It just went around. Yeah. It starts with the events that we're planning this year. It's not limited to those, but you'll see it's packed with events. And I will talk about them a little afterwards, and just enjoy what we did in the previous years. This is the tour today. I think that you're going. hope you're intrigued and would be willing to sign up for the other events. That's not all we do, so let me quickly move on to what we do as PTA. If you could move on to the following slide. So we do organize some events that are also fundraiser for our PTA activities, which in turn go back to our children. One of them is we start with Halloween, the year with the Halloween preparations. We have our Halloween queens here who do a great job in organizing this huge event. And then we have the Teacher Appreciation Days. We do celebrate both the US and Spanish Teacher Appreciation Days. PTA takes charge in organizing those. We have the Pancake Days. So the parents get together one day a year to prepare pancakes and everything for lunch for the children. And then we leave them to the teachers and they take care of all that sugar the rest of the day, but that's what we do. And then we end the year with the International Fair. It's a big event. We're so proud of it. It's so fun. All the countries who are willing to open the desk, we do present our food, our other cultural stuff, and it's again PTA-led international, PTA-led school event. We do have some ad hoc charity events throughout the year. Well, sometimes we do need. For example, last year there was this awful disaster at Valencia, and we organized as parents, and in the end turned it into a charity event, a fundraising event, and we donated the money to a local organization, an educational organization, and to help them out to rebuild the schools in Valencia. We do have Esperanza events. It's also a local NGO that takes care of feeding, providing food and sanitary stuff for the homeless people. We did that once a month last year, again PTA led by parents and the students, especially high school students. That was helping us, trying to help the students connect between the, establish connections between the think globally, act locally idea. We're going to continue doing that in a different capacity this year. These are the events part that we do. And in terms of the representation, we do have grade reps. All of you do have at least 2 grade reps in your classes, in your class chats. I hope you know who they are. If you do not, you can reach out and easily find them. So in the grade reps groups, we gather questions, concerns, anything that might be of interest of the majority of the students. And then we have our monthly meetings. And through those monthly meetings, we turn that into a more structured communication with the school management. We do have great rep leaders who are not here. Neve for middle school and high school. We have Sonia for elementary, and we have Maria for pre-K and kindergarten. So that is an ongoing, a good way of communicating with the school. You can do, of course, on a personal basis, but if it includes more than your child, if the situation includes more than one child, it's also better to include all the parents and the attorney to take good representation. We do support school for the stuff that we are not necessarily doing. Halloween decorations is a big thing. And holiday decorations. Kindness Week is also an important thing that is taken quite seriously by the school, and we do help them as parents organize some small things for the Kindness Week decorations. San Jordi is also a big event, again organized by the school. It's kind of a local, national book fair. And any other support that the school may require from us. These take a lot of time. Only 4 of us are here. I would like to just introduce my friends. Cynthia, you know Cynthia, Muriel, and Leo. And In total, we're 11 right now, 9 to 11, two newcomers. So
We're also here.
who are also here, yes, who are also interested to be a part of the PTA. My first year, I was not involved at all. And then I started doing little bits of the events. We can move on to this is the celebration, not that, the other one. Yeah. the QR. Yeah, that's right.
Thanks.
So, in whatever capacity you can, if you can get involved in the volunteer group chats, you can do some pancakes, or you can do some decorations at your very limited time. You can do more, or you can do less, or you can say, I cannot do anything, but my company can provide this to this event. So in the end, it all goes back to our children, and we just hope that we can turn this school life into more fun and more richer environment for all our children, and help them out if they have any problems during this process of integration. I think I was way too quick. Yes.
I have a question. I was looking for the volunteer activities for the kids, and I think that some of them the new ones could enjoy them. But I don't know if it's restricted to the
Volunteer
high
for the
school.
children? Well, it is really well managed by the teachers first. And whatever we do, we always run it with the school. So sometimes they do help. Like, for example, it's up to the parents and if the situation allows. For example, we did some bake sale for Valencia, and they were involved. For the Esperanza food preparations, they are involved. High schoolers do make the rounds of distributing the food to the homeless, only high school, but of course that's with the school, and because it's managed by, chaperoned by the school teachers and staff there. So whenever we have some event coming up, we announce it here, and then we sub-organize it, subgroup it. For example, we do have a special group for Halloween preparations because the chat runs crazy there. So if you want to get involved, you can just get involved and it will be fun. If you don't want to get involved this year, you can keep on enjoying our events, and then maybe you can suggest some other stuff and help us make the events better in future. Yeah. Any other questions? I think I'm done. Yes, now it's I'm ready.
Thank you. Thank you, Ram and Cynthia. Thanks for starting us out. I just want to say, before I introduce myself, how envious I am that you'll be out on all these wonderful trips and excursions, and we'll be here with your kids, so they're in good hands, but I'm quite envious because there's some really cool things you're doing. My name is Rachel Gerbic. I am the social emotional counselor for grades 9 through 12, so if you have a high school student, I'll be working with your high school student. And we're going to go through each of our slides. Should I just introduce myself then? Do you want to show my slide?
I'm not really the tech person.
I know.
I'm just here.
Sorry. A big round of applause. She's doing a great job.
Here's your slide.
So thank you. I have a PhD in psychology. I'm a licensed therapist, marriage and family therapist in the great state of California. I have a trauma background, so I help people with little t trauma, which I like to call it, and then sometimes big T trauma. But little t traumas are the things that we deal with every day, social issues, friends, breakups, those kind of things. I'm also a peer mediator trainer. We're going to have a peer mediation program here. Peer mediation works by having two mediators work with people in conflict to resolve their conflict peacefully. So we have that program, and it's going to start tomorrow. And I have a number of students already signed up to do that during Flex. I teach mindfulness to all the high school students so that they can learn skills to self-regulate and get calm in their bodies and their minds when they start to feel anxious or stressed, which a lot of our students do as they get up into the IB. It tends to be a little bit intense, and they can have moments of stress, so we work on that throughout high school so that they have the skills they need to manage that. I am here with my partner Kim, who is from Gracia neighborhood. So we've actually circled around, full circle. I worked here 20 years ago as the high school counselor. And my office only moved like just around the corner. It's really cool. So I'm back, and we're back with Kim's family. They're all here in Barcelona, so we were very happy to come home. And my daughter Kenya's in grade 9, and is just starting the Spanish Catalan program. Even though she speaks Catalan at home, she's never studied. So this is an opportunity for us as well. So we're learning as well as you are, and I just want you to know we're all along on this process together. And on that note, I want to mention that our school is becoming a safe passage across network school. So what you're doing today, and I love that so many of you are here, such a great turnout. SPAN, Safe Passage Across Networks, is a program that a lot of international schools have, so that we receive families well, that you feel embraced by your new home, your new school, your new culture, and you can feel safe here. And then when it is your time to move on, let's say, to a new school, you have another school waiting for you with open arms. So that's the idea of Safe Passage, and we're very proud of becoming a Safe Passage school. And this is part of what we do to welcome new families and help you to feel part of our community. We really want you here and want you to be part of our community. So that's, it's happening as we speak. Yeah, I've lived in a lot of places, worked at a lot of different international schools. I love learning languages, so like I said, I'm right there with you, learning different languages. And I love being here in Barcelona for all the beautiful nature, and of course the city life. But my family's very nature-y, so we live in Can Carrillo, and we get out on the mountain a lot, which is fun. And I will turn it over to our elementary school counselor, Liz Mahaffey.
No, it's right. It's okay. Yeah. We have a real elementary school counselor named April Hartle, who will be coming to join us. She's in the US, still waiting on her visa and her paperwork. So she was in Kuwait. She's back there waiting in the US. She's been a counselor for 11 years. So really, when she gets here, this will be the elementary school counselor. But in the meantime, I am Liz Mahaffey. This is my 3rd year here at BFIS. My real position here at the school is working as the whole school support coordinator. So I work with students in nursery through grade 12. Any of our students who work with our counselors, our learning support team, our bilingual, multilingual learners all kind of fall under that. So in doing that, until April gets here, I'm also serving as the elementary school counselor. So that's why y'all are getting to see me today. I am originally from Texas. I have a really big family who's all still back there in the States. So I try and go back and see them as much as possible. I've worked in, obviously, the US, Qatar, Peru, and am loving being here at BFIS. Last year, we started training some of our staff. I'm a certified crisis prevention safety instructor. And so we have quite a few of our staff members who are now trained in those nonviolent techniques about de-escalation with students and how we can verbally help talk them through things. And with that, I will now pass it to Julie Rayner, who's here as our middle school counselor.
All right, hi everyone. My name is Julie Rayner, and I'm the middle school counselor this year. I've worked at this school for 11 years. I've been working in education for over 20. I have 4 kids. They give me quite an education too. Cross-cultural family, that's with CC. My husband's from Spain, he's from this neighborhood. I'm from Minnesota. I always say if I could live anywhere in the world, I would live in Barcelona, Minnesota for 2020. That's where I'd like to live. I've lived in Japan, the Netherlands, My biggest experience with culture shock was in Japan. So I think however far you are from your culture, it intensifies your experience of what we're going to talk about today. I've felt it, I've even felt it here. So we're with you on the experience. I've been here for almost 20 years. And yeah, this will be my 12th year at BFIS. I've been a high school counselor, an elementary counselor, and now middle school. So I've seen the whole progression, which has given me a really great outlook on watching the same cohort go from little kids all the way up. I keep reappearing in their lives at different times. Right now, the current middle school, I was their elementary counselor for 3 years. So I love seeing how, things the textbook tells us about their development, and we've all studied and we trust to be true. I've actually watched it with entire cohorts who I've known since they were little babies in nursery all the way up to they're in university now. So, okay, free time. Who has any free time? We have a house out in the country we like to go to. I was away for 2 years, and during that time I was putting social emotional learning videos out on YouTube, and now I still work on Instagram giving daily tips from a school counselor. And so when I didn't say I'm a counselor or an educator those 2 years when people say, what do you do? And I was like, I'm a YouTuber. That brought my oldest child so much joy. I've never seen him look at me like that before. He loved it. We played paddle. Yeah, they're my hobby, I guess. All right. And Dina. Is Dina here?
Yes.
Hello and welcome. My name is Dina Ricciani. I am the University and Career Counselor, or also College Counselor like we call it in some other places. I am originally from Puerto Rico, but that is the place where I have lived the least. The place where I lived the most was Colombia, for like 21 years in total. And then in Brazil, in the United States, in Guatemala, in Venezuela. I was here before for 10 years, then I left and came back. But I have a BA in Communications and a Master in Education and School Counseling. I'm also a certified university counselor. Mom of 2 big boys. Trust me, it works out okay. One is 35 and the other one is 27. I'm grandma of one gorgeous little boy called Sebastian. And I'm mom to a Westie girl called Nesca. I'm married to my best friend, Joan. He's also from Spain, from Barcelona. So I guess there's something happening there that we all end up here with. And like I said, I have lived in all these places. I love to work with teenagers. It takes up my entire day and afternoon and weekends, and I don't mind. I love what I do. But whenever I find some time, I like to walk my dog. I do crochet now that I'm a grandma, and I binge watch good series. That didn't happen when I was growing up, so now I get to go next. I love that. So next person, you can email me. It's D-I-N-A-R, dinar, which in Catalan means to eat or dinner or eating. It means something about eating. So just think big. Dinar, okay? So I'm more than welcome to do that.
Okay, before we dig in, I was just wondering if you could raise your hand if this is your first time, your family's first time overseas, so we kind of get a feel of who we're speaking with. Okay, great. And then if you've moved overseas more than 2 times, this is not your first or second time. Great, so we kind of have half and half. Yeah, super. So today's goal is to explore how our family cultures and traditions support our children in these periods of transition. How many of us have kids who are really excited to move to Spain and they're like, yes, let's do it, let's go. Awesome. Great head start. All right, and the rest of you who didn't raise your hand, it's okay. We've helped kids through that before too. International life, so yeah, we're going to bring in some rocks and anchors to help those kids, especially the ones who are resistant to the change or who this wasn't their idea. And next slide, please. Okay. So, finding your rocks. in these international transitions. These can be new things here or things that you have from home, traditions and values that you're going to bring with your kids, and these will be really important in their hard times. So some rocks, new ones, would be the new adventures you go on. The ones here in Spain or Barcelona, or your trips outside. For me, when I was having a tough time transitioning, I was like, café con leche, please. Like, I can't get that at home, right? And I always would ask for 3 chocolate mini croissants, but the way I say 3, they understand 6. And I never corrected them, I still don't, because you need 6, right? So it's just helping your kids. That sounds so minor and so small, but when you start to find, oh, that's one of our little rocks, you know, like they can't understand that you're saying 3 when you say 6, and yay, now you get more croissants, right? Those little small things are gonna help them pull through these hard times. We can still have our traditions of movie nights, holidays that you had at home. This is, for Halloween for Americans. For a long time here in Spain, it wasn't as big of a deal outside of the BFIS community. And I would suggest watching your kids as we get further along on the presentation. You're gonna see some adjustment cycles. Holidays that you have at your home that are really special, that are not celebrated here, be careful of how your kids are doing during those times. For me, it's Thanksgiving, it's 4th of July, my voice is shaking. It's still hard after 20 years. Like, you know your family and friends are together on that holiday, and it's not something celebrated here. If it's something like New Year's Eve, or Christmas, or something that for me, those are both celebrated in my home country and here, that's okay. We just celebrate it in a new way. And then we're also celebrating St. Jordi and things that I didn't have over there that are really exciting. Okay. Okay, so we also have our own family cultures and things that we can, traditions, things that we can bring from home. So like my example of this, it sounds simple. It all sounds simple, but those are usually the big things. So my kids were born here in Spain, and we go back to Minnesota every summer and spend like 2 whole months there. So they really do feel like they're from Minnesota, which I love. And they went to school here for many years too, so they were very American. We have a birthday sign that I put up every year, and it's in English instead of in Spanish. Now, if we lived in the US, I would be bringing the Spanish one, because it's holding on to a tradition from home. So these things sound simple, they sound silly, but whatever we can continue to do that our family has always been doing at home helps with these transitions, especially this first year. So that was a birthday sign. Our inclusion activity is for you. What unique traditions does your family have that you'll be able to carry on here that will become a rock for your family when you're going through these hard transitions? So for our inclusion activities, we like to do sort of a turn and talk. You can talk to the people next to you, across from you. Just take a minute to kind of think about, what am I going to use as a rock or a tradition to get my kids through this hard time when they're having a dip and just want to go home and do not want to be here, and it's all your fault. All right, go ahead and take a minute. here. Does anyone want to share something, one of their rocks that they want to bring? Does any group have something they want to share out? Any tips from the veteran travelers? Okay, well I'm glad we had the time in our small group. Oh, we do have one. Thank you, Katie.
We do a movie night every Friday. So we just get pizza and the kids pick a movie. We kind of cap it at about an hour. But wherever we are, whether we were just in China, then we were with my parents in the UK, and now we're here, we try and keep that on a Friday. So a consistent, let's start the weekend together. And the boys really love it.
That's great. Thanks, Katie. All right, we have another one. Thank you.
So I'm going to bring back like 12 to 16 boxes of mac and cheese. And I go to the States next week, so that's going to be our every week back Monday.
That's great. Food is so comforting, right?
Yeah, the deluxe.
I think food is so comforting. It definitely reminds me of home. I remember I never had a Starbucks in my life until I lived in Tokyo, and I was like, there's something I at least know and recognize it now. I like Starbucks as an ocean. Anybody else have another one? Yeah.
Every year we participate in a Thanksgiving dessert contest with our neighbors, and so we've been trying to figure out like how we can do that. Like, are we gonna order some crazy dessert and have it shipped to their house, or like, or how are we gonna like figure out a way to participate even though we're not there? So, like, it's like a big deal.
Staying connected back home, so fun. You could have the video when they eat your dessert and send you that, or FaceTime. That helps with connection. You can also start the competition here if you want, and then you make more friends here. But that is super cool. It's bridging both worlds. Yeah, another one.
Just to build on the food theme, we're on a family search for the best Mexican restaurant in Barcelona. So, if you have any recommendations?
I've got ideas.
And if you're willing to travel outside to San Cugat, we have one too.
All right.
We do love that. All right, well, thank you so much in sharing our ideas and our traditions. It helps us build community here too, which is another great way to help through those hard times of leaving home.
Thank you, Julie. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the cultural adaptation process. So we're all going through that. We're all at different stages. When you first came to Spain or thought about coming to Spain, what were some of the ideas that you had? What would Spain be like? What did you imagine Spain would be like? Does anyone want to share out? Fiesta. Siesta. Oh, I was thinking fiesta. Okay, we'll take both. Yeah, fiesta and siesta. Kind of what we expect. Any other ideas that you had before arriving?
I certainly had a lot of questions about whether this would be a welcoming space.
Oh, you wondered whether it would be welcoming. Okay, have you found it to be welcoming?
Absolutely.
Good, I'm glad.
Nice weather.
Nice weather, Spanish speaking. We're in Catalonia, so we also have the Catalan language here, which might be, tricky for those of us who came thinking, oh, we're gonna speak Spanish and hear Spanish all around us, and maybe we don't. So this is the iceberg concept of culture, where the initial ideas that we have of a country or culture are those that are kind of those superficial things that we know about, right? We've known all our lives. Okay, they speak Spanish in Spain. It's a fiesta and siesta culture. Maybe people are friendly. We know about the music, maybe flamenco and the Latin culture, and maybe some of the celebrations we've been aware of, or the foods, paella, for example. So those are kind of like the initial things we know are going to happen when we get there. And then as we drop into a culture, there's all the things below the surface that start to give us this sense of culture shock. We're going to talk a little bit about that. But it's things like maybe people not being so friendly, personal space, people touching you when they talk to you, eye contact, different foods, different ideas of time and being on time, or time that you can expect things to happen in. All of these things are the concepts that we become aware of once we're here that start to become a little bit challenging. So we're gonna just go to the next slide. Thank you, Liz. And so we're gonna look at this in two forms, but we have the honeymoon phase where we're excited, or at least maybe we were as adults excited. Some of our kids weren't so excited. I know a lot of you didn't raise your hand for whether your kids were excited to come. So the honeymoon phase is that excitement, looking forward to, things are gonna be great, the weather's gonna be nice, we're gonna learn Spanish. Then you kind of have these experiences of initial culture shock, kind of a little bit of confusion, disorientation. You think you're making yourself understood when you say tres and they give you seis croissants, which is a nice bonus. In that case, it's a good thing, but it's frustrating to not be understood or not be able to make yourself understood. And then there is kind of a jump to a superficial adjustment where you're like, oh, I got this, I can do this, right? And then sometimes we fall into this low point, and that usually happens around 3 months. And I'm going to show you on my next graph. We can start to feel really isolated. We can start to feel, this doesn't happen for everyone, but I just want to make everyone aware. And we'll be talking to our students this week. We have sessions with the new students about culture shock and also with their buddies. Each of the students had a student buddy, and we'll be talking to them about culture shock as well because they need to know what their friends are going through. It can be very hard and you can't always name it or see it, but you don't feel comfortable. So for some people it can actually lead to depression, and that's where the counselors come in. We want to make sure that parents aren't falling into depression, that our teachers, we have many new teachers this year, are not falling into depression or getting support for that, and parents, of course. And then around 6 months, when we go home for the winter break or we travel and we leave, when we come back, we start to feel this sense of, oh, this is my home. I do know a few things now. I do have a sense of home and community. So that's the trajectory that has been well studied. If we go to the next slide, you can see it in a different form that's quite simple. Again, this doesn't happen for everyone, but there's this high moment of arrival and the excitement of things being new, the honeymoon period. And then we can fall into this 3-month period, which is around October for most of us, when students can really fall into depression, anxiety, and hostility is the word used here. And hostility is just an expression of people feeling unwell, right? People feeling angry, not enjoying the culture. I don't like it here. I want to go home. That's very typical, but that's why we're here to talk a lot about it, to meet with the students regularly. We're doing regular check-ins with all new students, and we do group check-ins as well. So we're constantly making sure that students have the resources they need, and you do as well. Community is the most important thing, so that's what we're creating here. And then, like I said, you start to get a little bit of a sense of humor about the situation. Yeah, I had this really awkward moment at the store, or I tried to explain something in Spanish and it came out all wrong. And if you would, just turn and talk to someone next to you and share one of those funny little experiences. Maybe you haven't had one yet, so that's okay, you can just be a listener. But turn and talk about a cultural incident you've had, where the person didn't understand you, or you didn't understand them. We've all had that. jump from an awkward situation that made us feel very uncomfortable to some humor. And that happens through these kind of, sharing conversations. Like, it becomes funny. Maybe it's not funny in the moment, but it becomes funny later as an anecdote, right, of your experience. We all have them. Does anyone want to share a quick one? A funny one? Maybe it wasn't so funny.
I called a woman senora, and she got super offended and corrected me that she's a señorita, and kind of refused to serve me.
That's a great anecdote. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Just those little things, and you're like, oh, yeah. But then we learn, right? Now you know.
Now you both know too.
Yes, great. Thank you. Okay, so I think in the interest of time, I won't go through each of the slides. We talked about the honeymoon phase, that happy time, positive mindset, the initial culture shock, which is sometime coming up. The reason I want to highlight this one is that you might see your kids fall into this, and it's okay. It's normal. I want you to know it's normal. It doesn't mean you have to uproot and leave Barcelona. It just means it's part of culture shock. They're going to learn about this too, remember, so you can talk with them about it. Yes, this is culture shock. I'm feeling it too. Have an open conversation about it and figure out ways together that you can ameliorate that, right? One of the best ways is, like Cynthia said, she met 3 great friends on the tour that you're going to do today. So come together as families, as parents, come together as a community. That's the best way to ameliorate culture shock. Yes?
I have a very quick question.
Yes.
Maybe some other people can advise me or you. How to deal with some people who is actually rude and aggressive when you don't understand or you don't speak Spanish yet? How
That's a great
to depend on that situation? Unfortunately, sometimes, few instances, I get very rude response.
Yeah. Okay.
How
So
to handle that?
I don't know if you all heard that, but the question is, how do you deal with a situation where the person is rude to you and you don't speak Spanish yet, you don't know how to respond or react, and you're finding it strange?
The reason is they're rude because you don't speak Spanish.
Ah, they're being rude because you don't speak Spanish.
Or Catalan.
Or Catalan, yet. I'm going to put yet on there because you will. We all will. I mean, as a counselor, stay away from rude people. Right? I mean, it's not necessarily just a language thing.
But also,
What I say is, I am trying.
Yes.
Well, that,
When I tell them that I am trying, then they're like, oh.
Yeah.
In Spanish, I say, I'm trying. And then they'll be like, oh, okay. And then they're like, all right, let me work with
When
you.
you try to translate with them, they don't even want to listen to that. They just, I don't want to serve you or
Yeah, I just
So-
say, I am trying. You know,
Yeah.
that gets them to, for me, all I think is to back off. Yeah.
So we moved to Spain. That's a great idea, to just let them know I'm trying, I'm doing my best, I'm working hard. We moved to Spain to find a different culture, right? We looked at that cultural iceberg. We moved here knowing it would be different. So we also need to expect that it will be different. We don't expect rudeness, but it can happen. So just knowing that, right? We don't expect it to be like it was at home. We expect it to be different. And when we learn a couple of phrases, it's like tratando de hablar en español, then maybe they'll understand, right? That might help. Just a phrase or two, or you said you were using your Google Translate. Yeah, anything you can do. Julie, you have a recommendation.
Yeah. I can relate. I don't know what you know about Minnesota, but our reputation is for being really nice. Minnesota nice is a phrase. So when I came here, I found like hostility, and I was really, they're not trying to be rude. That's how they, like, that took me years to like understand that they don't think they're being rude, that's just how they speak. Sometimes still with my husband, like, I have to be like, whoa, you know, because it comes off really like, well, you're going to there, whoa, you know? So it's they're not trying to be rude, and if you watch them speak to each other, I've watched people go at it over a parking spot, and I'm like horrified, freeze response, completely like frozen, and then they walk into the cafe together and sit down together. I'm like, what just happened? So, I mean, I feel like watching them speak to each other and how they treat each other helped me to take, like, it's not about me, that's just, who knows how they speak to their family at home, right? Like, it's normal for them. And then also, I do kind of the trick of like, oh, do you speak English? Great, let's speak English. And then, I mean, that's me not being them so nice, but like, it's sort of like, we can speak English, right? Everyone speaks English. And then they're like, oh no, I don't speak English. Then it's like, okay, I'll do my best, you do your best. So it kind of gives them empathy that like, you're trying to. But yeah, don't take it personally.
That's great wisdom, and I do think it's important to just notice the cadence of the language and how other people speak to each other. What might appear as rude or disrespectful is just the way that the language comes across. So it might be just, you know, observing for a while before we make a decision. Sorry.
Do you want the mic? Sure. I think that it's just exactly what you said, like the faces that we made, because some cultures are used to be super gentle and super nice, and some others not. And I will say another example of this, I'm Mexican, and the service in Mexico is really good. So when you sit down and you ask for plates, all the time they are cleaning your table. And here not. And it was shocking because I was like, come on, the waitress is seeing that my table is full and she's not cleaning it, and I was asking her or asking them to like, take the things out. And then one friend from here told me it's because they are being really nice, because if they start to clean the table to you, is they want you to leave. And so we have to understand all those things. And sometimes it looks like they are screaming, but they are not.
I got used to that, but people actually not so nice.
Some people will say that, but it's just their language. We are just different.
Yeah, and I just want to say again, this is an observation phase, and we're just noticing, and again, not expecting things to be the same as they've been in other places, right? We're in a new place. Things are different here. It's our job to observe, understand, and find our way in this new culture. Again, just looking out for your kids if they seem very isolated, if they start to have low mood and don't want to participate in things. That might be normal. You also might want to reach out to one of the counselors if you're worried about your child. Make sure that they're getting the support at school that they need, and we're connecting them to activities and groups and other students where they can start to feel comfortable. And then do expect that it will be better around the winter break. You take a break from this place, take a break from this experience, and come back with a renewed energy. So just trust the process. It is a well-studied process. Lots of us are adapting at the same time. As I mentioned, we have many new teachers this year, so they're going through it as well. We try to support our teachers as much as possible. We try to support you as much as possible, and of course the kids. You might be at different stages in a cycle, so you might be loving it while your child is struggling, or vice versa. That's really hard on kids. You know, they try to put on a game face for their parents because it was their parents' idea to move here, and they're not having so much fun. So really check in with them. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel disoriented. It's okay to feel awkward. Those are all parts of culture shock. It's not going to be the same as it was at your old school or your old home. And we're dropping down into those lower levels of the iceberg. Okay, so here are some tips. Be a good listener, right? You're going to reach out, you're going to open a conversation with your child, knowing that this is happening. Maybe do some research together as a family. Everyone experiences some level of culture shock, maybe in different ways. Some people are angry, the word was hostility. Some people exhibit depression or want to isolate and stay away from others. We need to develop self-awareness of what our expectations are. Maybe people are going to be different here. They are going to be different here. Understand our local norms, and this is an interesting one. Be mindful that we can inflict culture shock on others by being ethnocentric, not becoming other, failing to practice empathy. So this is kind of what we've been talking about. Like, we have to be really mindful of how our actions also influence the local culture. So the culture shock actually goes both ways. There are cultural incidents that happen to us, and we also cause cultural incidents because we're different, right? We're trying to fit into the local culture, and that doesn't always work out either. So they may all be sharing at their dinner tables these funny incidents that they've had as well. Okay, so benvinguts a Barcelona. I will now introduce Laura Blair, who will talk a little bit about Catalan culture, the wonderful culture here.
Thank you, Rachel. Okay, it's been a while. It's getting warm in here. Can everybody just kind of move your shoulders, move your neck, do some chair yoga? Because we're gonna get a little silly and crazy now. My name is Laura Blair. I'm the associate principal of the secondary school. I'm looking out here and I see some familiar faces, some of my kids' buddies' parents and things. It's really lovely to be here with you. Just like the trend that we've started to set, I married a Spaniard, Catalan, and moved to Barcelona 20 years ago, and this is my 15th year here at BFIS, so there's something that makes us want to stay. I absolutely love the culture here. I had 2 kids here. They're both here at BFIS. My daughter Julia is in 10th grade, and my son Joey is in 7th grade. So if you're wondering why this American lady from Michigan, by the way, another Midwesterner, knows so much about the Catalan experience, it's because I married into it. And so these are things that we talk about in our home. So Spain and Catalonia, you'll see here that the first spelling of Catalonia is in English. The second spelling with the ñ is in Spanish. And the third spelling is with a Y. So you've already learned some Catalan. The ña, the ñ with the tilde at the top doesn't exist in Catalan. So to make that ña, you use the Y instead of the ñ. So if you're walking around and you see a sign with N-Y-A, you know it's being spelled in Catalan. And with the ñ, you know it's being spelled in Spanish. Catalonia is one of the 17 comunidades autónomas in Spain, and it has 4 provincias. So we are all in the Provincia of Barcelona, but we also have Girona, Lleida, and Tarragona. These 4 make up Catalunya. There are different accents for each of these provincias in Catalunya, and if you stay here long enough, you actually start to differentiate between the different accents. And then inside each of the provinces, there are 41 comarcas, but we're not going to get that detailed today. They're over here. So flags and symbols. You may have noticed there's different flags that you'll see around Barcelona. The first is the Rojigualda. This is the official flag of Spain. And then we have the Senyara, which is the official flag of Catalunya, with the stripes. If you see the Estelada, this is the flag for the bid for independence. And so that's the difference between the Catalan flag and then the independence flag. And you'll see those both flying. The Ruc Catalan is the quintessential animal of Catalunya. They're donkeys and they're out in the campos. And the Toro Español is more emblematic of Spain as a whole. So Barcelona street tiles are absolutely beautiful. I'm sure you've noticed this as you're walking down the streets. There's actually a lot of tradition and history behind this. So I actually have, it's not linked into this presentation, but I can share it with the PTA and get it to you. An article that actually tells you how to see all of the tiles on a walk through Barcelona. And there's a route that you can take, so on your walk you actually see every single type of tile. This one is the most common, the Flor de Barcelona. You see this a lot, and you'll see it on handbags and wallets, etc. Those are my kids when they were tiny, standing in front of the Sagrada Familia. They're called panots in Catalan, and baldosas in Spanish. Okay, the Catalan language is co-official. It's spoken in a few places in the world, and it has dialects as well. It kind of sounds sometimes like a mix between Spanish and some French, which makes sense because of where it's located. And we're going to practice some in just a moment. The Spanish language is also a Romanic language. It has a lot of Arab influence in some of the words. So words like azúcar, alcohol, cero, berenjena, and guitarra are all from Arab descent. In Catalan and Spanish, we use the informal you for a singular and plural. So if I'm talking to someone, I'll say ¿cómo estás? Instead of ¿cómo está?, which is more formal. Okay, I need 3 volunteers. Let's get up and moving. All right, I don't know your name, so I'm just gonna point to you. Come on up. Is that a camera or is that a volunteer? Come on up. All right. And another volunteer? Okay. All right, we're gonna practice some Catalan. We just talked about this. You go into the shop and you don't know what to do and you think they're gonna be mean to you because you don't know any of the language. Well, now you have no excuse. You are Catalan. What's your name? Isaac. You're gonna read the Catalan, okay? Isaac speaks 5-6 languages, so you're gonna get this like that. What is your name? Puram. You're going to read Spanish. And then your name? Dan. You're going to translate into English, okay? So, pass the mic nice and loud.
We're going to count to 10. Get
Hold
close
on.
together. Oh, we're not counting to 10. Sorry. We're practicing phrases. You're reading the blue.
Hola.
Hello.
Buen día.
Good morning.
Buenas tardes.
Buenas noches.
Good afternoon.
Buena nit.
Buenas noches.
Good night.
Please, Cloud.
Very good.
Por favor.
Please.
Gracias.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Indeed.
Mi amo.
My name is.
¿Cómo estás?
¿Cómo estás?
How are you?
Soy profesor al BFI.
Very good.
Soy profesor en BFIS.
I'm a teacher at BFI.
I hope what
¿Esto cuánto cuesta?
How much is this?
is the small B.
Esti. Muy bien.
Estoy muy bien.
I'm fine.
That was fantastic. You'll see here that if anyone who speaks French, right, this is very reminiscent of s'il vous plaît. In the gracias, you'll see that the vowel changes, but it's pronounced almost exactly the same. So if you're introducing yourself and you want to try Catalan, just MD, and then your name, MD Laura. All right, well, we were going to count to 10, but you sat down, so that's okay. But here you also have, if you want to try counting to 10 in Catalan, I'm sure the PTA will share these slides with you later on, so you'll have access to it yourself. Okay, we're going to try our best to race through a year in Barcelona and hit some of the highlights. I realize I only have about 40 minutes before your tour. 30 minutes? So we'll do this as quickly. So the fall is el otoño or la tardor in Catalan. And one of the major fiestas just happened, the September 11 La Diada. And if you were here on that day, you will have seen quite a festive day in Barcelona. But the day actually commemorates the fall of the soldiers in the Spanish War of Succession. So it's an homage to the soldiers who fell. It's a very celebratory day. There are castellers, which are human towers. It actually translates to castle. Coming up next week is La Marseille. That is the fiesta mayor of all of Barcelona. It's a really fun day, and we get that day off school. So it's another time to go check out what's happening downtown Barcelona. And then in October, November, depending on how much it's rained, and because we've had some rain recently, this is going to happen sooner rather than later, then the wild mushrooms pop up in the countryside. And Catalans absolutely love to go foraging for their wild mushrooms. And then October 31st, we have La Castañada, which is the festival here instead of Halloween. It's really like the fall festival. So we're going to talk about a few of these things. The Casteller is very emblematic of Catalan culture, and a lot of times we like to use this as a bit of a symbol of our education system here at BFIS, right? So the piña, which is the bottom layer, it's all of us. It's the community together. Together we make a strong foundation because we want our kids to be right at the top. And if we make that foundation together, then we lift. We lift our teachers, and then they lift our students. But we're all part of this together. And if you've seen a Casteller in person, raise your hand if you've seen one. Okay, quite a few. You'll see that the piña is actually formed of anyone who's in the audience as well. So you'll have the team, but then as you get closer to the outskirts, just people who are there can lean in and become part of the piña. So if the child falls from the Casteller, everyone is catching the child. And it's such a beautiful tradition of community and culture. The middle part is called the tronc, and then at the very top we have the pom de val. Now this is an after-school activity for kids here in Catalunya. They can sign up to do this, and they train from when they're very small. My daughter, who's 15, has a very close friend who lives in Andorra, and she trained to be a pom de val when she was very small. But now she's getting older, so she's moved down to this team. And so this is something that as you grow up, you move down the foundation, and we can talk about all of that symbolism too, right? So we lift each other up, and then we become part of the foundation to keep lifting. Oh, it gives me chills. I love it. So mushroom hunting is really important. These are pictures of my kids hunting their mushrooms when they were much younger. They're 15 and 12 now. But you have to have a basket. You need to go out into the woods, and you need to find the coveted rovellons. These are the mushrooms that look kind of like a portobello mushroom. They're more hardy, and they're delicious. But everybody wants these mushrooms, so if you don't get there fast, they're going to be picked before you get there. Just have to be very careful because there are, hey guys, go around, or just be, is your whole brain gonna come through? Just go up and around, it's okay. There are poisonous mushrooms that can make you very sick or kill you. So be very careful. Sorry. Either go with a guide or someone who absolutely knows what they're doing before you don't take it lightly. If you just do a Google search of guided mushroom foraging expeditions in Barcelona, there's a couple that will come up. Or you could go with my husband and my son who know everything. How do we use these? These are called grocs, which literally mean yellow legs, and these are really good to put in like a lentil stew or something like that, or to dry them and put them in like a tortilla de patatas. And then the rovellons are usually sauteed with olive oil and garlic, a little parsley, and they're absolutely delicious on their own. I have this actually linked in. Aha. This is one of the tours that you can take with a guide. All right, then we get to the winter. The fall's done, and there's a lot of tradition here around the winter and around the festivals close to Christmas. Catholic country, very big on Christmas and some of the traditions that happen at that time. So we have December 26th, which is San Esteban. This is the day after Christmas. And the tradition is to take your leftovers from Christmas Day and wrap them in canelones, like a pasta, and serve them to like the bee relatives. Like the people who didn't come over on Christmas Day, like the second cousins and things like that. It's kind of funny, but it's true. The 6th of January is Dia de los Reyes, and it's the biggest deal. It's much bigger here than Christmas. This is the King's Day. This is when the kids get their presents. Kids in Catalonia don't go to school the next day because they have to play with their presents. It's that important. So school starts for kids again on the 8th. And then in January to March, you have the calzotada season, which is a onion fest, which you're going to have to try as well. We're also going to talk a little bit about this very interesting pooping log. So, I don't know what to say except there's a lot of poop traditions in Catalonia. This is a log who poops out presents, and his name is Cagatillo. And this is a real thing. And Isaac, behind you, you have the Cagatillo. Could you pass him up? When it turns late November, for sure on December 1st, these are everywhere. You can't miss them. This is quite an authentic one because it's really made of wood. Some are getting very fancy and they're plush stuffed animals and things like that. But he should have a blanket and his very traditional cap. But if you do this the right way, you would actually go out into the woods with your kids and you would have this hidden beforehand, and your kids would find Cagatillo in the woods. And this would happen a week before Christmas. Correct me if I'm wrong, anyone out there who knows more than me about this. When you find Cagatillo, then you make a big deal about it. There he is! And your kids find him and they take him home. He's cold because he's been out in the woods. So you put a blanket on him. And every night you feed him the leftovers from your dinner. And you leave a little bowl or a plate with snacks on it, and he eats. And as he eats, his tummy gets full, and he's got to go poo, right? And so what you do is you leave treats under the blanket, and the blanket keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then on Christmas Eve, there's this ridiculous song, so fun, and the kids go around with a stick, and they hit him, and they sing a song, and then he poops out presents. I know. It's a real thing. It's kind of like what we do here instead of stockings. It's a big deal, and you should try it with your kids. And we were talking about having traditions here. This is a tradition you could take back to your families where you live, or start it here because it's really fun. And you can't get away from it. I mean, you'll see these absolutely everywhere. This is the caganer, which is ridiculous as well. Believe it or not, this figurine lives in the nativity scene, and it's like, where's Waldo? So when you're walking through and see the nativity scenes, you have to find the caganer. These are for sale everywhere around Christmas time as well. Isaac, you're gonna have to be my helper and pass me Sonic. This is my son's. You can get them of famous people, politicians, football stars, and there they are. So these are some of the main traditions at Christmas time. There actually is a reason to it. It's to talk about the resourcefulness of the Catalan people and using anything that they have as a resource, making something out of scarcity. This is my son trying to be Cagatillo when he was quite little, and my daughter and one of her friends. This is a giant caganer that was at the mall. So you'll see these absolutely everywhere. So, Chupa Chups. How many of you know what the Chupa Chups is? They're little lollipops. Did you know that this was designed by Salvador Dalí? Some nice trivia for you. And what emblem of Barcelona do you see on the wrapper? The tile, the street tile, the baldosa. Very good. That's a nod to Catalan culture. So I like telling people that, just a little fun bit of trivia there for you. Around the holiday time, turrón is very, very important. That is a dessert. Now, where's my dessert contest? Okay. So when you were saying that, I was like, we've got you. Turrón is a big deal here, and the really good ones come out around Christmas time, and these are things you can send back to your family. There's a lot of nuts involved. If there's nut allergies, be really careful, because these are usually made with almonds. They have egg, sugar, but mostly toasted nuts. And there are different flavors. There's a very crunchy, hard type, and then a very soft type. And I would say it's maybe close to what we would say a fudge is in the United States, but it's not nearly as sweet as that. And it's just lovely to try. But they come in large bars, and you pick off pieces of them and just put it out on a platter. And after a meal, people take pieces and eat their turrón. So the calzotada, this happens in kind of later winter, early spring. When these are, I would liken them to leeks, very large onions. And these, the oh, how do I even describe it? It's just an eat-a-thon. You find a place out in the woods, if you can, like a masía, and you sit down with your family, and the first course is just absolute, just onions, as many as you can eat, and they're roasted on an open flame. They put a bib on you, and you get gloves, and you hold the onion up like this after it's dipped in the romesco sauce, which is absolutely divine. This is the whole reason you go, this sauce right here. It's not about the onion, it's about the sauce. And you dip it, and you eat the onion, and you toss the tail. Everyone gets messy, and there's wine, and there's bread, and then they bring out the meat, and there's the meat course, and you sit there for 5 hours and eat onions. The quintessential place to do this is in Tarragona. There's a very, very famous place in Tarragona, but you can find calçotadas anywhere in Catalunya. This would be a very typical menu for going to a calçotada, about 30, 35 euros a person, and you would have the calçots for the first course, and then your meat, and then your dessert.
Laura?
Yes?
The PTA also has one for any of the families that
PTA
want
has a
it.
calçotada. Where do you go?
I don't know, I haven't been there.
And Travino up on the hill here in Barcelona.
Great, say yes, go, it's really fun. So we made it to spring, and the major festivals in spring are Easter, and the Mona, which is a cake that's given out on Easter, and then a big deal here is the 23rd of April, which is San Jordi. So the legend of San Jordi is quite a big deal. Does anyone know it? No one? Okay, great. We're gonna act it out, so I need some volunteers. Let's go. I have all my props set up. I'm going to stare at you awkwardly until you volunteer, so let's do this. I need a princess.
I'll be here.
Thank you. You can go get a crown or any prop you like to be a princess. I need a prince or a knight.
I'll be your knight.
Thank you. You can come and get a sword. There's some capey things over there. Knock yourself out. We need a king. No one wants to make eye contact with me. Thank you, Alex. King. There's a crown over there for you. And a dragon. Thank you. Oh, I know you. We met. You're the dragon, just a puppet. Just wear them on your hand. Okay, so Liz, if we can click into this, when we're ready, the YouTube, I think this is it. No, sorry.
No.
That's not
Yes, it is.
That's okay. I'll tell the story. I thought I had linked in the story of Sandra. I'll tell the story, it's okay. Okay.
Maybe I'm the next. No.
You're gonna act out what I say. Here we go. Once upon a time, there was a king and a lovely princess who lived in a town up on top of a hill. They were very happy, and the king loved his daughter very much. But there was a mean, nasty dragon who came to terrorize the village, and he was hungry, and he wanted to eat people. The king said, "That's not good."
That's not good.
So he came up with a lottery system, and every day he chose a name, and that person was sacrificed to the mean, terrible dragon. But one day, the name of his daughter, the princess, was drawn. And he was a fair king, and he knew he had to sacrifice her to the dragon. She cried and cried, but there was nothing she could do. So there she went to face the dragon. And just as he was about to slay her, in galloped San Jordi, a knight, to save her and slew the dragon. And the dragon fell to the ground, and out of its blood, oh, somebody has to be the rose, I'm sorry, grew a red rose. The prince gave the rose to the princess, and they lived happily ever after. No, we can watch this video. Thank you so much. You guys are such good sports. Thank you. customary on this day to give each other roses and books, to exchange roses and books. And our absolutely beautiful book stands all through the city. If it's not working, we can turn it off, Liz, it's okay. And to give one another roses, and there's rose stands everywhere. But here at BFIS, we also do it up quite big, and we celebrate. And in the elementary school, your kids will dress up as the princess or the dragon or the king or the knight. And we have festive dances, and it's a wonderful day. So we've made it to the summer. The summer is started by the San Juan Festival. This marks the beginning of the summer, and it's celebrated with fire. So there's bonfires, and there's also a lot of firecrackers, which are called petardos here. And a lot of younger people like to go to the beach and party. I'm not a younger person, so we get out of the city and go as far away as we possibly can, because we don't like the firecrackers all night. But this marks the beginning of the summer and the end of our journey through a year in Barcelona, I believe. We'll skip the Catalan music. There's some good stuff. You have to be a Barca fan. If you're not, it's part of the lore here. It's very important. This would be a typical flamenco dance, which here in Barcelona is called la sardana. And this is actually the sardana that's being danced right outside the monastery in Sant Cugat where I live. And my son, years ago, who just kind of rode up to it and saw what they were doing. But quite often on Sundays, right at 12, they dance the sardana at the Gothic Cathedral. And so if you just happen to be there, they'll let you get in and dance with them.
Can you go back to that previous slide?
Absolutely.
I know it sounds silly. I just, the different pronunciations.
Barça? Barça, Barça. So, do you guys want to sing the Barça song?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. I might not have it, but you can just look it up on YouTube. Make sure it's the one with the lyrics. I don't think so. So if you go to see a Barça game, which you should, the theme song is really important. And the chorus, at the end, you just kind of shout, Barça, Barça, Barça. So that's why I put it, but we'll sing it all together now. Thank you for suggesting it.
I keep seeing it.
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah. And you'll see the C truncada, which is the C with the little tail, and that's pronounced as an S. Barça.
Accionista del Banc Sabadell. Molta gent ha donat l'opinió.
Thank you, Liz.
De polítics, grans
No
empresaris, els grans accionistes.
Okay, here we go.
If you know it, sing nice and loud. This means blue-red.
Great job. That's all Catalan. Yeah. So gastronomy is very, very important in the culture here. A lot of time the plan is just the food. So when you're going to meet with people, that's the plan. There's nothing after that. And that was something new to me as an American moving here. It's probably what made me fall most in love with Spanish culture. That when I was in the US, we went to have a meal. You're kind of rushed through the meal at the restaurant because they want to sit someone else. And then you go do the thing, whether you go bowling or go to the movie or whatever it is. And then I moved here, and no one's rushing you at the restaurant. You can sit there as long as you want, and you can do sobremesa, which is you can just sit there and talk. And that's the plan. You're not going anywhere else. It's just to unite with people and share a good meal. There's a lot of traditional dishes all through Spain, and Liz, this might have a timer, so like if you just continue to advance, yeah, the ensaimada, this would be very typical of the Balearic Islands. Paella would be something that you would find more in the Valencia region. Gazpacho is very typical in the south of Spain. And then you have in the very north of Spain a lot of seafood and pinchos. These are tapas that come with a large stick in them, and at the end of your meal, they charge you by counting the amount of palitos that you have. Try it all. Travel and try the food, it's amazing. I was going to just give a shout out for one of my favorite tapas place in the board. It's called El Tapeo. I absolutely love it. It's got great tapas. It's small, so get there early and get a table, but you won't be sorry. Oh, we're gonna try this. If you're ordering tapas, now you're gonna try your Spanish again, you say una de, and then whatever you are ordering. So if you want pan con tomate, you would say una de pan con tomate, una de patatas. And they'll be very impressed that you've spoken to them in Spanish.
There's also a tapeo in Gracia.
Oh, there's a tapeo en Gracia as well. Okay, great. So pan con tomate in Catalan pan tomacat is just so simple and so delicious and so easy to take back to your homes when you go back to visit. But you just need some crusty bread. You need the right tomatoes. They need to be tomates de untar. They're not the tomatoes that you would slice and put on a sandwich. They're quite a bit more squishy. And you just cut them in the middle and you squeeze them on the bread. You're not cutting them into slices. Then you need some olive oil and some salt. Now, a lot of people rub garlic on the bread first. I'm not a fan, but that would be the most traditional way to do it. Okay, coffee is important. So I thought you might want a little cheat sheet of how to order your coffee. This might be helpful for you. So café con leche is a latte, right? It's coffee with milk. A café bombón is espresso, but it has sweet condensed milk in it. It's yummy, but it's quite sweet. Café solo is espresso. Café americano is watered down. That's why it's called American coffee. Yeah, believe it or not, my Catalan husband, this is what he drinks every day. Café americano is his favorite. Café cortado is the love of my life. It's a small café con leche. It's so good. And you have it after lunch, typically. But it's just a little kind of shot of coffee with milk. Café con hielo is with ice. And this is pronounced kind of like the word yellow, the color in English, but with a Spanish accent, right? Café con hielo. Carajillo has some whiskey or some rum in it. And then a desgraciado is if you order anything light. Like if you order with skim milk or non-fat milk or anything like that, they call you a desgraciado, which is like poor you. And they make fun of you. We often say here, calories don't count in Spain, so get the whole milk. It doesn't count. Wine is also really important to the Catalan region, and so I added a few wine locations that you could go and maybe take a wine tour. Does the PTA do that as well?
Yes, last year we did.
Not a tour.
Not a tour, it's just a wine tasting.
A wine tasting.
Okay, great. Yeah, these are some of the Catalan wines that are most famous if you want to try local wines. So Penedès, Vilafranca, Priorat, Empordà, and from Tarragona we have a lot of port wines. So just something to keep in mind when you're ordering. And then we have the Spanish traditions that we hear about quite a bit, like the Corrida de Toros and the Encierros. This is prohibited in Barcelona, and it has been for many years. It still takes place in a few places in Spain, but it's becoming more and more taboo. And the encierros, the running with the bulls, that happens in the northern part of Spain in the summer in Pamplona. We also have the Semana Santa, the parade. There's the fallas that happen in Valencia in the spring where they have giant floats that they burn at the end of the festival. They take all year to make these floats, and then the last day they burn them. And there's just so much more we could talk about. You greet each other with 2 kisses if you're 2 women, a man and a woman, or men within the same family. Anyone else shakes hands. And it's not really a kiss that you're planting on a cheek, it's an air kiss. So you're kind of going left and then right and kissing the air. All right, let's see if you were paying attention. I don't have prizes, I'm sorry. You can have more cookies if you win. Okay, what famous Catalan artist designed the Chupa Chup logo? Salvador Dali, very good. How do you say street tile in Catalan? Panot. Very good. Ooh, I wish I had prizes. What are the main ingredients in turron? Nuts? Almonds, sugar, eggs. So now you can go make it. When is it typically eaten? Christmas time, very good. Or as a Cagatio gift. And can you name a Catalan wine region? Benedés. Excellent. How do you order tapas in Spanish? Show us by asking for patatas bravas. Patatas bravas. Wow, what a great group. You're all ready to go out and get some food and have a great tour this afternoon. It was lovely to meet all of you.